Go out to the Bud Light guest line. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Looky here. It's Mike Silver, San Francisco Chronicle, Bally Sports, and beyond. Hello, Mike. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Good. Hey, were you in the building for that press conference yesterday?
I wasn't. I went down Tuesday and talked to a bunch of players, and I decided to live stream that thing.
Okay.
So, I did write off of it. I was writing anyway, and that'll run at some point. But, I thought that the first 24 minutes and 30 seconds were fine, but that last minute was the golden minute for me.
Do explain.
Please explain.
Yeah, the last minute. What are you referring?
Well, Kyle was asked about, the amount of quarterback injuries that have happened under his watch, and if he thought he had to change things systemically or figure that out. And he went all in. Got some sarcasm there at the end. I wrote all about it. It'll eventually be in the Chronicle, but he didn't love the question. I thought it was funny. I've known him for a long time.
Yeah, and I mean the sarcasm, it was dripping with sarcasm, but for some where there's smoke, there's fire. Why would you say that the Niners have had so many injuries at quarterback? Is it just, as he described it, dumb luck?
Luck is definitely a part of it, and that sucks. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, unfortunately, is injury-prone, which sucks because I love everything else about him, and I don't want that for him. But some players just get hurt a lot, so there's that. Purdy, I think when you have an inexperienced quarterback running play action, and for play action to work right, everything has to look the same, which is the beauty of Kyle's offense. So you're going to have tight ends and running backs blocking edge rushers at times. Probably just doesn't have a lot of reps under his belt. Didn't know to step up in the pocket away from the potential danger there. But, Purdy's been amazing. That happens. And Josh Johnson got a concussion against a team that had 70 sacks, one of the highest totals in NFL history, and Trey Lance got hurt running the ball inside. But when you have a dual threat quarterback, that's part of the deal. That if you're going to have dual threats, you have to run them. So I think we all want to blame people when things go badly. You can't blame Jimmy for this one, so it naturally turns to Kyle. That said, he has had a disproportionate share of quarterback injuries, and I don't know that you change things schematically because, again, if you want the awesomeness of his offense, you can't have it become more predictable and mousy. But I think he probably wants to have a feeling that the people he's got back there can withstand the pounding better than Jimmy has for whatever reason.
Mike, you reported about a week and a half ago, maybe even a couple of weeks ago, that the 49ers were planning for Brock Purdy to be their starter going forward. Then the injury happens, and I know right now they're still indicating that the thought is that he's likely back by August. Take the injury stuff, the unknown out. If Brock Purdy is back in August, is he still firmly the starter, or could things change?
Yeah, if Brock Purdy is back in August and he looks like he did before he got hurt, then of course he's the starter, but I don't think you can take the uncertainty out. So, I quoted the great Oakland philosopher Todd Shaw, a.k.a. Too Short, in my column Monday and said it was all good just a week ago. Things changed. Brock Purdy was going to be the guy. Trey would have been there. They would have continued developing him. They had rookie contracts. They could pay Bosa, build around it. It was a great plan. And, the envy of any other team, really, to have a quarterback that accomplished at such a young stage on a rookie deal. But, quarterbacks and elbows. So, first of all, I was a young beat writer when Joe Montana had an elbow injury in training camp in 1991, ended up missing an entire season, came back in 92, didn't feel right again in training camp, missed all but the final regular season games, second half. So basically missed all of 2 years and then was gone after that. It's tricky. I think Kyle and John believe from what they've heard that there's a scenario where you have this non-Tommy John surgery that's less of a production. 3 months later, he starts to try to throw again, and within 6 months, he's back to being him. That's awesome, but you got to be really, really confident in that, and that's why I think once you started understanding the potential, maybe that first surgery doesn't go perfectly, maybe he has a setback, maybe he does have to have Tommy John after all once they go in and they realize it's worse than they thought, et cetera, et cetera. Now you're in a zone with a team built to win now, whose window is right now, and you want to consider all options. Brady would have made a lot of sense in that he was probably a one-year guy if he came back. That's now off the table. Rodgers makes less sense because of the financial commitment. You could do it and fit it under the cap, but you're looking at probably a 2-3 year minimum with him, and what you hope Purdy gets back to would, make that less pressing for you. And then I think what's probably most likely is you hope for the best on Purdy. You try to develop Trey Lance, who's also coming off a second ankle surgery, and you hope he's ready for like phase 2, phase 3 of OTAs. And you have to have a contingency plan, whether that's a Matt Ryan, whether you actually draft somebody else. I think that's less likely. Whether you go get an Andy Dalton, someone like that. I think you better have a contingency plan if Trey is your only healthy guy heading into training camp.
And the contingency plan won't be Jimmy Garoppolo. Do you think that was more a Jimmy saying not a shot in hell, or the team saying enough is enough?
When they did Jimmy's deal, when he came back, it specifically precluded them from tagging or trading him. So Jimmy got the power at that moment. So had Jimmy stayed healthy, continued playing like he was playing, possibly got them to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl, it would have been a fascinating scenario, because they would have been like, Jimmy, what's up, buddy? We want you
Jimmy.
back. Hold that thought, guys, because I'm going to go check out the market, and I'll let you know, and, maybe I'll come back, maybe I won't. And it would have been a complete shift of the paradigm, which previously allowed them to cut him at any time after they had the wandering eye. So that would have been fascinating. So basically, Jimmy's going to get a better deal somewhere else than the 49ers, even under this situation, would pay him. He's going to want to go to a team that has never given up on him and presumably believes in him more. And the 49ers can't do anything about it, even if they suddenly decide to pledge their undying love to him, which they won't. So I thought he was gone last year. I know he came back. Things were weird. He was coming off throwing shoulder surgery. Kyle said it pretty clearly after I had, said similar things in print. It's, to quote another great Bay Area philosopher, Robert Hunter, he's gone. Nothing's going to bring him back. He is gone.
There it is. Mike Silver with us here, Willard and Dibs, 95.7 The Game. Hey, Mike, done deal. I know there was the early report, and then you tweeted out, hey, it's not done yet. And I guess now it's done with Vic Fangio to the Dolphins. And a lot of people are processing that like, oh, he turned down the 49ers. But Kyle talked so much yesterday about continuity with what they're already doing on defense. What do you know about the 49ers' interest or lack thereof in Vic Fangio and what they do next?
Okay, well, first of all, I did not report that it wasn't done yet. What I reported was Vic Fangio told me Sunday night nothing has been decided, right, and was angry that there had been a report. So if anyone is upset that it took 3 days for it to actually happen, blame it on Vic, not me. But, okay, first of all, I've talked to a lot of coaches about this recently because I've tried to be sure when I discuss things that are over my head, and a lot of fans aren't so unencumbered, but I'm going to try. So 3-4-4-3, we freak out about it. Really good coaches like Vic Fangio don't get hung up on that as much as Joe Fan. There are a lot of similarities. They're just called different things. Basically, with the 3-4, you don't know where the fourth rusher is coming from. With the 4-3, you do. You can rush 5 in a wide nine type look with either scheme. They're just called different things, and good coaches will find a way to take the existing personnel and make it work, and you can call it 3-4, 4-3. So could a coach as good as Vic Fangio come to the 49ers without going, I can't really have both, got to get rid of Eric Armstead. I don't really think Greenlaw and Warner. Like, no, of course not. He would take those, beautiful pieces on the board and make it work really, really well. So I don't know that it was that, but I do believe that Vic Fangio, probably had some pretty high-level conversations with Kyle Shanahan about what it would look like and whether they wanted it. There are a lot of things going on. Vic had a lot of options. He had been linked with Sean Payton. It would have been awkward had he gone back to Denver a year after being tossed out of the building, but he wasn't completely averse to that. Obviously Atlanta, Carolina, Miami. And so, Vic just had a decision to make, and I'm sure a lot of things factored in. Kyle is he's a coach that a lot of people want to work for. And, certainly those players on that defense, wow, they can make you look really, really good if you're a good coach. So, for example, today I reported that Vance Joseph, who is in the mix for that Arizona Cardinals head coaching job and definitely has a chance to get it. And the reason I believe that is because the Cardinals, who still have him under contract as defensive coordinator, aren't letting him out. And he's had many, many overtures about possibly being a defensive coordinator elsewhere, including for the 49ers, I believe. So, would that be super cold if the Cardinals keep him, and then hires, say, Brian Flores or another defensive coach, and there's no room for Vance Joseph and he's left out in the cold potentially? Yep. And certainly I would hope that's not what's happening. So we'll have to see, but there are a lot of moving parts. Jero Evero, another really highly regarded coach, who was in Denver this past year, previous experience with the Rams and Packers. He's talking to Sean Payton today. He's still in the mix technically for Colts and Cardinals as head coach. And so all this is kind of playing out. So I'm sure Kyle is going after the best and the brightest, and I would put Vance Joseph and Jero Evero in that category. Scheme certainly matters, but the way I interpreted those comments, just for 49er fans who can get past the I know scheme thing, is they have a really, really good defensive line coach in Chris Kaczmarek, who came in and implemented the wide nine under Robert Saleh and really helped take that defense to another level. The way I interpreted Kyle's comments were, we want someone who wants to keep Chris and probably some of the other assistants to take these great players and make it cool. So I'm less hung up on 3-4-4-3 than I am, hey, I want to come to the Niners and bring in all my own assistants. I think that's more of a deal breaker.
Good stuff, Mike. Good to watch the way this one's going to play out. Obviously, whoever gets that gig has got a few players to play with for sure. Mike, we'll talk to you next week, man. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I hope I still have a voice on Thursday. The Super Bowl is known to erode my voice in short order, but apologies in advance if I sound atrocious.
Yeah, are you doing your big old party thingamajig out there like usual?
We are not throwing a party this year. I'm attending, so I'll try to bring it back. Next year's in Vegas? That sounds wholesome. I'll talk to Carissa Thompson and Jeff Darlington and see if we can resurrect our shindig.
A party in Vegas? We're in. All right. Hey, Mike, good stuff, man.
Yeah, the Niners hopefully will be there with their new defensive coordinator. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, and all 12 of their quarterbacks. Exactly right. All right, there he is. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike Silver, San Francisco Chronicle, Bally Sports.